everyone, this is Gabriela Batres Salinas, and I'm going to be your host for this podcast called Exploring New Places. This podcast will talk about all the places that one wonders and thinks about going. We will explore new destinations, local, out-of-state, and foreign, of where to travel to. Many of the destinations will be about the places that are often overlooked or not considered because people go to the same usual places that are most popular. Here, we will explore popular and unpopular destinations. You might ask, what exactly are you going to talk about? And to answer that question, I will be talking about the destination's food, culture, activities, restaurants, and people. This podcast is perfect for people that are curious and want to learn a little bit of everything. Therefore, I will try to explain everything that one may be interested when visiting the destinations. Let's get right into it. Welcome back, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. It's almost summertime, and I'm so very happy about it. My favorite season is summer, although I love each season because each season has its own beauty. I've been traveling a lot lately, and I just want the weather to be sunny and the sky to be blue without clouds already. I love sunny days. Who doesn't, right? The sun changes your mood and it gives you the opportunity to do a lot more outside activities than when it's cold. Anyway, I hope everyone is doing great. But for today's episode, we will be going over my Memorial Day weekend this year, which was completely different than what I had planned. I wanted to talk about a beautiful destination that a lot of people don't know about in SoCal, but it's okay. It's okay to pivot and change as you go. Next year, I will definitely talk about this destination since it's a Memorial Day related activity for family and friends. In the meantime, for this episode, let me tell you that I ended up in Las Vegas with very short notice, and it was my first time going there, and I had a great time. I was visiting family members who live there and hadn't seen for a very long time. Also, I ended up staying longer than I anticipated, which was a good surprise. What a city is Las Vegas, truly. I now understand why it's called Sin City. Truly, it's a Sin City. When you go, you definitely have to have an open mind about what you can potentially see there. It's all fun and games, literally. I did not go to any clubs to dance, but I did go sightseeing, and we did a lot of walking around Las Vegas Strip and the old Las Vegas. I took lots of pictures, and it was a great time. I'm a big Formula One fan, and I got to personally see where the track will be this November, as well as the ongoing construction that is being finished for the Las Vegas race. I cannot wait to see how it will all turn out. Comment on our social media channels if you too are a Formula One fan. Okay, so back to what I will be talking about. I'm going a bit off topic here, but I'm just so excited about it. Today's destination will be all the free shows that you can go see in Las Vegas Strip. Now, when I say all, I mean the ones that I saw and that I can recommend to you because I like them. Okay. If it's your first time going, like it was for me, I'm so excited to share with you all the free activities that you can do while visiting Sin City. But first, allow me to tell you a little bit of the history of Las Vegas and how this city started off. According to Britannica.com, in the early 20th century, a man named William A. Clark, who was a railroad mogul, decided to build a railroad that went from Los Angeles to Salt Lake City. And while building this, he saw that what is now known Las Vegas Valley had potential for development since there were springs found and a well could be added for people's convenience. Long story short, he obtained land and water rights to the springs, and he developed a railroad depot, also known as a railroad station. By the way, he was also a politician in Montana who utilized his influence to have all this construction done and legal. Clark had a lot of influence in developing the pipelines of that time. On May 15, 1909, Las Vegas was established, and although there had been recent development of the area, the town grew up slowly except for a town that legally allowed prostitution and gambling. In 1910, Nevada passed a law that made gambling a crime, which meant that the casinos could no longer have operations. Therefore, casinos proceeded to resume their business underground, and they were running successfully. In 1931, the laws changed, and they allowed casinos to operate normally without going underground and without breaking the law. Now, Mr. Clark sold his share of the Bill Railroad in the year of 1921 to a company named Union Pacific Company. Soon after, Las Vegas Valley saw a sudden growth not only in tourism, but with new residents. The census in 1900s reported only 30 people living in the area. And by 1930, there were 5,000 new residents in the area. That's a lot of people and growth in a very short time. At that time, one of the things that captivated people into staying in Las Vegas was the fact that people could divorce faster than any other state in the United States. People only had to reside for 6 weeks in the city to be allowed to file for divorce. At the same time, Hollywood stars would frequent this city, which helped further develop the tourism. It's so interesting to learn that most of the growth that this city made was during the Great Depression and post-World War II. Due to a high demand, hotels began hiring well-known singers for entertainment at their hotels, such as Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and Sammy Davis Jr. It's important to mention that Las Vegas casinos and hotels were involved with mafias back then. You can learn more about this by visiting the Mob Museum, which tells you all about the criminal organization, its people, what type of crimes they were doing, how everything dissolved after the government found a way to dismantle these organizations. The very first major hotel and casino in Las Vegas was the Flamingo, founded by Benjamin Siegel, who was a New York gangster. Siegel is attributed to helping develop what is now known the modern Las Vegas Strip. His vision of having multiple gambling places came to life after establishing the Flamingo. He was killed in his mistress' house that he bought for her in Beverly Hills shortly after the hotel had opened due to going over budget to open the hotel. I don't want to go in depth because that could be another entire episode of how everything happened with this criminal organization. But it's important for me to mention it because it is part of the city's history. That's why my recommendation for you is for you to visit the Mob Museum. Make sure you plan your visit and purchase beforehand because you get a discount for doing so. Their website is www.mobmuseum.org. After the great success of the Flamingo, other casinos opened that I believe you can still see it today. For example, the Thunderbird opened in 1948, the Desert Inn in 1950, the Sahara in 1952, and the Riviera in 1955. Consequently, to law enforcement dismantling these organizations, it opened the opportunity for corporations to open their hotels, such as the Bellagio and the Venetian. I've tried my best to summarize the history of this place, and it's hard because there are so many details that are important that helped form what Las Vegas is today. However, I've given you what you need to know when it comes to history. If you get the chance to read all of it and read in depth about each person, believe me when I say that it's very interesting and you won't be disappointed. It's time well spent because you will learn more about history of this city. My next talking point for today is where you can find and go watch free shows in Las Vegas. My first option for you is one of the most iconic shows in the Strip. You can go see the volcano in front of the Mirage Hotel. This show runs from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. and it throws real fire and you can feel the warmth when you're standing right there in front of the show. It's crazy, but so cool to see. The fire is synchronized with the background music and it looks like an actual volcano erupting. By the way, if you've never seen this one, let me inform you that this volcano will be demolished since MGM sold the hotel to Hard Rock International, meaning that they will build a Hard Rock hotel in Las Vegas Strip. It has not been announced of when this will happen, but be on the lookout for this upcoming change. My second free show suggestion for you would be to go to the Bellagio and see the stunning flower display that they have. There are around 10 giant sculptures made completely with flowers. Lots of people go to take the pictures there. And there's no other word to describe it but stunning. Very beautiful to see. I remember my favorite one here was the centerpiece that forms two hands holding colorful flowers, and water is falling in between the arms. The sculpture is enormous, and this is where most people take their pictures. I would be lying to you if I said that was my only favorite one, because each sculpture is so uniquely different than the previous one that, it's really hard to choose just one. There was one sculpture that looked like Tefiti from Moana. It's so beautiful. I can't even do it justice by describing it, but the sculpture is a woman with her hand out and she's holding a butterfly on her fingers. Her hair is her hair has yellow flowers and giant yellow roses. And she looks to me like Tefiti from Moana. It's so beautiful. To me, when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, Tefiti. But, you might not see the resemblance. Or maybe I'm just a Disney fan. I don't know. Anyway, there are two other sculptures that caught my attention that were hummingbirds, which I also love. Again, giant sculptures with lots of flowers. I've never seen sculptures like these before, and it was so wonderful to see. My third suggestion for a free show is something that you cannot not do when going to Las Vegas, and that is going to Fremont Street. Now, let me advise that there are lots of things happening here. For instance, lots of people smoking weed, drinking, people wearing thongs like it's the beach, dancing, drunk people taking pictures, people watching free music shows, and there are others doing zip lining across the super long ceiling that is a screen. It's a lot going on when you come here. Well, I spent my weekend in the city. Katy Perry was doing a free show there to promote something of hers, as well as Mark Wahlberg promoting his new tequila at one of the bars located here in Fremont Street. So if you're lucky, you might see a celebrity for free while they're promoting something for their brand. My fourth suggestion would be to see the water show at the Bellagio. Again, this show is completely free, and depending on the song that they will be displaying for everybody, that's how high the water will go and from side to side, because the water is synchronized to the music. I don't know why I said high that way, but yeah. When I went, they played Celine Dion, Volo, which is an Italian group of opera singers, and Viva Las Vegas by Elvis Presley. This show is every 15 to 30 minutes depending on the day. If you go during the weekend, they start at 12 p.m. If you go on weekdays, they start at 3 p.m. When you go, you will see that the shows are very frequent for this one, and you won't miss it because a lot of people go see it, and a lot of people are taking videos, and it's so big and it's just so iconic. You will see it, so you won't miss it if you have never heard of this show before. So yeah. Okay, just FYI. Now, the must-haves on your list when visiting Las Vegas would be Las Vegas sign, the Venetian, the Luxor Hotel, which I love the architecture of this pyramid. It's so cool. The Hershey's factory, the Shops at Crystals, which is a mall with every single luxury brand there is, and a lot of people go there and walk around. It's cool. Caesar's Palace and all else that your feet allow you to walk. It's a lot of walking, but so rewarding when going for the first time. If you've been to Las Vegas before, what's one thing that you always do when going? comment on our social media channels. Normally, this is the time where I would share my experience when going, but what I've mentioned before is what my experience was. So it was very calm and just a lot of walking and picture taking. There were some places where there was a little bit of chaos, but it's Las Vegas. What can you expect, right? I hope next time I go dancing and maybe see the Formula One race. One can dream. It's free for everybody to dream, right? Not to go to a race. Clearly. If I missed a show that you've seen and it's free, please do share on social media. What is one show not mentioned here that should be watched when going for the first time? Now, we've reached our time for 3 fun facts about this week's destination where you can create new memories. Number 1, according to WestgateResorts.com, Las Vegas is the brightest place on earth. NASA has taken pictures from above, and this place shines brighter than Hong Kong. Number 2, Las Vegas Strip isn't located in Las Vegas, but rather in Clark County, Nevada. Number 3, there are over 300 weddings a day in Las Vegas. How crazy is that fun fact? And each wedding lasts for less than 10 minutes. So very short, very quick. You're in and out, and that's it. I hope you've liked today's episode. Very different and relaxed. As always, I appreciate you for tuning in to the Exploring New Places podcast. Remember to share this podcast with everyone in your community. It helps us grow. Follow us on social media. Our Instagram is @exploringnewplaces_podcast. And our Facebook is @exploringnewplacespodcast. New episodes launch every other Friday on whatever app you listen to podcasts. If you liked an episode, please be kind enough to leave a review sharing your experience with this podcast, especially if you listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. That would be so helpful. Today has been a very fun episode, but now it's time to conclude. Until next time.